War Diary, Eastern Front. Part 4. It doesn't get any better for the Russians. We push forward everywhere and leave the Russians unit on the left so that the infantry can take care of it. We make a longer stop at a river and wait for the pioneers who are supposed to make the crossing for our tanks possible. But they are still so far away that we have to wait a longer time. In the meantime, we examine the embankment in both directions to see if there is a way through. A corporal of the infantry brings the Russians to the mobile command post. He supposedly knows a ford we could use with our tanks. For me, the river is too deep and the current too fast. After a short time, the command is convinced and we set off in a southerly direction. After about 1 hour, we come to a place that does not look shallow, but if the Russians would go there, then let's go. Our Ivan gets into the river and carefully walks toward the other side. We see the water rising higher and higher, but it doesn't get higher than his chest, and after some time he has crossed the almost 150 meters wide side. So we try it with our vehicles too. Wilford's crew is to cross over first. The commander has second thoughts and lets everyone out except the driver. Now it comes down to it, and carefully the tank pushes itself into the river. We have a steel cable attached to the rear. You never know. After about 60 meters, there is a bang and the tank is lifted and shaken as if by a gigantic fist. It sits there smoking in the river. Was that shelling or an aerial bomb? A mine in the river, someone shouts. Where is the Russian who showed us the place? The son of a bitch must have done a bunk. We stare at the other side and see the Russian taking to his heels. Oberfeldwebel Wilford grabs a carabine and after the third shot he has killed the fleeing man. We can understand that he is angry, but maybe the Russian didn't know about the mine. We jump into the river and try to get to the tank. Hopefully there are only tank mines in the river that can't be dangerous for us. When we arrive at the tank, we look into the driver's hatch. The driver is only half inside the tank. The whole abdomen is torn off because the mine went straight up and the left front track went up. What a mess. With a steel tow cable, we get back to the other side. The commander of the tank standing in the river curses like a reed bunting. The tank is in the bucket and the driver is dead. With the combined force of the tractors, the tank is pulled out of the river again and we take a closer look at the damage. The recovery squadron will not be able to repair it. The remains of the driver are recovered from the tank and we wait for the sappers. They are to clear the fort now. In the evening we finally get over, but the price was high. Part 5. Our tank is once again with the recovery squad. Track final drive broken and the long overland marches gnaw at the equipment. We finally hope for a more powerful gun for a tank because you can only knock with the 37mm cannon. It should take 5 days, so we make ourselves useful in the regiment. Our commander takes over a tank where there were breakdowns. Our radio operator serves with staff for a few days and my friend Willy wants to have me as a gunner in the PSW scout car. My Feldwebel agrees and I go to the front with the scouts for a few days. The vehicles are fast but have little armor. The 20mm cannon doesn't really impress me and I hope we don't run into an anti-tank gun or a T-34. At dawn we start. At normal overland speed we feel our way forward. The target is 15 kilometers ahead at a place with a railroad line and a station. We are to check out if the Russians are there, and if so, how strong they are. A second car drives 500 meters across and gives us some cover. Railroad tracks come into view, and it seems as if the tracks lead to a railroad embankment. In fact, the embankment rises on our left, getting higher and higher. Certainly, it's not yet a problem for a scout car to bridge the uneven terrain. No Russian to be seen, little cover here. Hardly any forest and a few bushes we could hide behind. We stop and take a look at the map. Still 4 kilometers to go to the target, and so far nothing to see. We consider whether we should drive over the railroad embankment to take a full look. For the Oberfeldwebel that is too risky, and he takes me on foot to the embankment. Carefully we look over. To the east, nothing to see except the village on the horizon. When we look west, I feel queasy in the pit of my stomach. In 500 meter distance stand 3 fat guys. Looks like KV-2. Slow but dangerous, hard to crack, with a heavy gun. They sit close to the railroad embankment and seem to being refueled. With binoculars you can see the crews and a few more soldiers running frantically back and forth. I don't think they have seen or heard us. The second PSW is already in the vicinity and the commanders are discussing what to do. We have no anti-tank guns in the vicinity and the Air Force is tied up elsewhere. So the only way to get close to the enemy and take advantage of the element is surprise. No sooner said than done. We all load up ready and prepare for a dashing attack from behind. With a jolt, the 2 PSW shot across the railroad embankment towards the KVs. Don't fire too early, we want to hit something, or at least cause confusion. 300 meters, 200 meters, 150 meters, the order to fire comes and the 20 mil cannon barks away. At this speed, accurate aiming is difficult, but I stop in between and hit tanks, gasoline barrels and Russians. The second PSW has also opened fire and an inferno of bullets and explosions erupts before our eyes. At 50 meters we turn right but keep firing. 2 tanks are on fire. That hit home. I see how the KV furthest to the west actually starts up and turns. I pass this one to the driver and he pulls a tight turn to get out of the gigantic gun's firing range. The second PSW breaks away to the left and tries to escape over the railroad embankment. There is a bang and a shell whistles past us. We quickly drive in the direction of the railroad embankment to the place where we came across. During the crossing I can see the Russians pushing his tank up the embankment. Good for us because at that angle he cannot fire. Like the devil, we race west. The other PSW is already almost at the tree line and in safety. I turn the turret to the rear to see what's happening. The Colossus pushes itself over the railroad embankment, but does not stop at the top and drives down again on our side. Luck for us, he cannot shoot until he's down. The driver shouts that 300 meters in front of us there are 2 farmhouses and we want to take cover behind them. The commander gives the green light and we race behind the house. Shortly after, a shell hits the house. We jump out of the SPW and want to rush into the nearest ditch. I fall from the SPW and hear a loud crack. That was probably on the right. Anyway, On we go. I crawl to the corner of the house and look through the binoculars. Slowly, the tank is coming toward us. I hope we get support soon. Otherwise, we won't be able to get away. The Feldwebel has reported the situations, and we hope for the heavy field howitzers. There's already a rushing sound and the artillery keeps it up. Apparently the boys from the shooting gallery are on their toes. Fountains of earth splash up and the tank disappears in smoke and fumes. But apparently that was not enough. Unstoppable, he comes closer towards us. The next salvo rushes in and the impacts are close to the tank, but also to us. 400 meters still. Then 1 or 2 direct hits. The track is off and the tank sits smoking in the field. A short time later, 2 Russians climb out of the tank and run to the railroad embankment. Lucky, that was too close. The other PSW comes forward with 2 infantry fighting vehicles to clear the area. We move back and Willie drives me to the 8th station. Nice crap, broken hand. My boss won't be happy about that.